Masharikov in the lane, fadeaway jumper, beauty. He is probably the most draftable player on the George Washington team.
Yeah. By the age of 16, 17, I was really coming up as one of the best players in Belarus.
Yegor Masharikov from Belarus, once a part of the bigger Soviet bloc, came to the States to play college basketball 4 years ago.
And in 1995, I just decided I gotta go. It just doesn't make sense to stay in Belarus anymore because I want to pursue my basketball goals, and the only place I can do that is the United States.
For over 200 years now, people have been coming from all over the world to chase their dreams here in America. And this new influx of college basketball players is no different. They want a better education, they want a way to make a better living, but they've added a new element to the American dream, and that's to become world-class basketball players. One of the top places for a foreigner to elevate his game is George Washington University, where the locker room looks and sounds more like it houses a mini United Nations than a Division I basketball program. The team was designed by former head coach Mike Jarvis, who took over the program in 1990. Before his arrival, the Colonials hadn't been to the postseason in almost 30 years.
Oh, what a pass down the lane!
Jarvis quickly turned the program into a winner, making the postseason tournament 7 out of the last 8 years.
What a big, big victory for the Colonials of George Washington.
The secret to his success? Foreign players. Jarvis realized GW had no real basketball tradition and therefore couldn't compete for this country's top players. So he decided to go overseas. And by doing so, he turned the George Washington hardwood into a true melting pot. This season, Tom Penders, a 27-year head coaching veteran, took over the program after Jarvis moved on to St. John's University.
I come to George Washington, and I have about 8 players from foreign countries, so it's a little unique. It's probably the most unique coaching position in America in terms of diversity of the basketball team.
Located in the heart of cosmopolitan Washington, D.C., the school has a largely international student body, making the university uniquely poised to recruit student athletes from all over the world.
Being in Washington, D.C. helps seeing other international students all over the world, and I feel a part of it, you know. I guess if I would be somewhere in Kansas, being the only international student on the campus, it would be much different, but thank goodness we're in Washington, D.C.
As international a city as D.C. is, it's still a far cry from home. Although Masharikov has a Russian roommate with whom he regularly converses in his native tongue, his dorm room is a long way from Belarus. Still, the 6'8" power forward has adapted. Like most of his foreign teammates, he quickly picked up the English language.
Go Leafs, guys.
Well, most of it. Some sayings are learned only on America's playgrounds.
Sometimes the foreign players, you have to explain the basketball slang. You can't assume they know the basketball slang, like take it to the rack or don't quit on me, those kind of things that coaches say all the time. They often take you literally, so I have to be real careful.
And it's not always easy for the foreign players to relate to their American classmates.
By the way, did you like the professor?
After all, a kid from Belarus may have grown up knowing a Boris and a Natasha, but not a Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Once in a while, I would hear the phrases or people making jokes about referring to former TV shows or former presidents, and I don't know nothing about them, you know, and I feel frustrated because I cannot get this joke.
There have been adjustments made by the 6 Americans on the team, too. For sophomore Mike King, it's hard enough to identify with a kid from the other side of the U.S., let alone a kid from a different continent altogether.
It's different, you know. They say a lot of stuff like, you know, wars and stuff like that. You know, I've really never experienced that. You know, being there and a war going on.
Yeah, I think everybody is different because of his background.
Roy Eyal is a sophomore guard from Israel.
I think the area we're coming from make us a little bit maybe older mentally, the Israeli youth, because you grow up in such an atmosphere that you know, all those wars, and it's never quiet there. The news is never about weather and stuff like that. Always something happens. And I think it has to do with your personality.
One personality trait that cuts across foreign and domestic lines is homesickness. But it's usually worse for the foreign players who are often far away from their families for periods of a year or even longer.
Homesickness really affected me over the first 3-4 months being here. My buddy Andrew Krivanos and I were just counting the days, like we were saying, 1 week in States, 2 weeks in States, my goodness, how are we going to handle all those years in college? And eventually it became a no factor, and things started working out well. But first couple months, it's real tough.
On the whole, these kids say the sacrifices have been worth it. They've enjoyed success on the court, where this diverse group has truly gelled as a team.
GW is going to the A-10 final.
We epitomize diversity here. You've got guys from all over the world here, and yet we get along. We understand each other, and we can be an example for the whole country, the whole world.
Watson trying to go one-on-one with Terry Crum. Pull up pop from the baseline, no good. What a fantastic rebound.
There's never been more incentive than now for the cream of the foreign basketball crop to come to America and improve their game at the college level. After all, if you do well in school, there's plenty of opportunity waiting in the professional ranks.
Hakeem says take that.
19 NBA teams this season have at least one foreigner on their roster, and NBA and college games are now telecast across the world. So young Dutchmen can now emulate the Pacers' Rick Smits, who played college ball at Marist, while Berliners beam with pride over Sonic's Detlef Schrempf, a University of Washington alumnus.
Nothing but court for Detlef Schrempf. It looked like a beauty as it left his hand.
Mayakovsky looking to Candy again. The rookie, beautiful move. Score, he fouled.
This season, both Brits and Nigerians have a strong interest in the NBA.
With the first pick in the 1998 NBA draft, the Los Angeles Clippers select Michael Olowokandi from University of Pacific.
The Nigerian-born and English-raised Olowokandi arrived on the Pacific University campus in 1995. After 4 years of American coaching and competition, the former English high school long jump champion evolved from a long shot project into a dominating big man.
That's too good. Yeah, quick move.
Most agree that he would never have reached his current level had he stayed in Europe and played with a local club team.
Di Miranda leads for Camara, and he buries the three from the left.
In Europe, basketball is more passive.
Seiko Camara grew up playing